I'm Holden Douglas here at Crypto.com Arena, where the Kings fell short to the Canucks 3-2. Despite losing a heartbreaking overtime game, the Kings were able to fight back. Adrian Kempe got the Kings on the board, making it a 2-1 deficit, and then Jordan Spence hit the assist to tie the game. We got to hear what both players had to say about rallying back in the game.
Didn't feel like everything was kind of going your way. Then in the third period, really furious from you guys. What changed in your mind between the second and the third?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously every game isn't going to be perfect. So I think, first and second period was okay, not more than that. And then the third, I think we just, got more pucks in that. Everybody was more hungry, more physical, and then we got some chances and scored on them. So, but good last period. I think obviously tough losing game. We definitely should have won with a 4-on-3 in OT as well.
Second game in a row, you guys have been down, and then you've gone to you with Q and Kevin. I mean, what kind of spark has maybe the three of you guys together given, maybe the three of you individually and the team in those moments?
Yeah, I mean, they're sometimes it's good to change things up. Maybe when it's not going the way, get some more momentum. You get obviously excited to play with some new guys every now and then, and I mean, they're both really skilled. They work really hard. Got all the tools, so I just tried to do my part, and basically the same thing. Try to work as hard as I can. Lots of talk out there, making some good plays, and got rewarded. Had some good chances over the last couple of games with them, so that's I mean, it's a good thing to have in the back of the pocket, especially games when you're down going into the third period, that we can go to lines like that and create some offense.
On that, what do you like about Q centering you and Kevin? What is it about that seems to work?
I mean, a lot of speed. Obviously, he's a big guy, but he's really powerful. Got a lot of speed, and often beats this guy up the ice. So it creates a lot of odd man rushes, and he's really good one-on-one player, which helps a lot too. Especially when you don't have the puck and he can beat his guy. It creates confusion for the other team, and that creates chances for you and for us. So I mean, they're both, probably the two best one-on-one players we have on the team. So it's I just try to do my part and work hard.
How much of a factor was their defensive play in the first period? It looked like for a while nothing was going to happen in the game.
I mean, they really came into play. I think they were hard. They were physical early on. I think we weren't as physical and hard as they were in the first period. So I think we got better along the game. I think the second period was a little bit better. We started showing up a little bit more, but third period was good. But they're a big team. They have big physical D. Hard to get around them. Hard to get to the net. So I mean, they played a solid game tonight.
Adrian, on Q, you mentioned the offensive part of his game, but he had said that when talking to Kevin, a big thing he wanted him to know is try and make plays, try and get a little bit risky because he'll be there to cover him defensively. That's something you noticed kind of right away on that line, that you have that safety net of Q always behind you defensively. Yeah,
and he's grown a lot as a player over the years, and you can definitely see that he's very trustable out there, especially in defensive areas, and he's using his body really well. He's starting to, not saying he's smarter, but he's starting to figure out a little bit more in the D zone, and whether I play with him and Kopi, they always have my back. So it's really nice to play with guys like that. That's always covering for you.
I know you love playing with Kopi, but would you like to see a little bit more of that line with you, Q, and Kevin?
I mean, obviously I played with Kopi for so long, and just had a little bit of a drought a couple of weeks here. So obviously I think it's good sometimes to change things up. Like I said, you get a little excited sometimes to play with some different guys, and I think it's good for both of us. And I'm sure we'll get back together, just like it happened in previous seasons. Where last year we had a couple of games where we didn't play together, and then they put us back together, and then we're scoring again. So I think it's sometimes it's good to change things up for sure.
You guys have pulled back within sight of the division here. How do you take the momentum that you do create here at home on this road trip here?
I mean, it's definitely, we got to get better on the road, that's for sure. We've been really solid at home. We can't always rely on being down in the third period, coming back and knowing that we have the fans in the back and stuff like that. So it's going to be, tougher on the road when you're down 2 goals, when their fans are going crazy and they have the fans in the back. So I think we just got to be more, consistent with our game. I think right from the start throughout the 60 minutes. We don't have to be perfect every game, but we can, have a really good 20 minutes and 40 minutes. Okay, we got to be more, good for 60 minutes than have those ups and downs. I think.
Adrian, you mentioned your line's been a little bit dry recently. That goal you scored today feels like the kind of goal you score when you're playing your best hockey. When you have that, does that kind of get the juices going for you? Something you can kind of build on?
Yeah, I think. I mean, obviously, at the end of the game, you're down. You try to create stuff, and sometimes I got a good pass. I had a lot of speed, so obviously try to shoot in stride and all that kind of stuff. And definitely builds confidence. And I haven't played my best game over the last couple of games and before the break either. So hopefully I can spark me up a little bit more for the future and for the next couple of weeks here.
Thanks,
Cool.
Drew.
Thank you guys.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much.
And if you look at kind of the way that game started, the first 40 minutes went one way, and then the third really seemed to swing in your guys' favor. In your mind, what kind of changed for this group between the first 40 and the third period?
Yeah, I think the first 40, I think we kind of had the same game as we did against Vegas. And, in the third period, we played really well against Vegas. We did the same thing against Vancouver, but I think for us to win games, especially in the second half, we have to play a full 60-minute. If we play like we did in the third period, then I think the results would have been different. So I think that's our biggest take.
Get a big power play late in regulation, another one in OT. Obviously, drawing the penalties is encouraging, but not cashing in. Where do you think the power play is at this point in the season?
Yeah, I think it has to get better. I think the first half it wasn't going our way. The second half, I think we're finding it game by game. We had a power play goal the game before that, and it stung a little bit not scoring on that 4-on-3 in the overtime, but we just have to learn from it and be better.
If you look at Fogg's goal, you kind of started that play by activating off the rush and then got back to the net when you cycled back up. How did you see that play kind of develop from your end?
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're down a goal, we're just trying to jump up and try to do the best we can to create offense, create chances. So, Phil made a nice play, and I try to do the best I can. And once Mo got the puck there, I just, had to open up for that one-timer, and, Fogg's had a great tip. So, I think all the goals that we're going to score from here on out, I think the defense is pretty tight with every team we're going to play. So it's going to be a playoff style, and those goals are really crucial throughout our game.
Is there a way to practice that tip that Fogg will have off Shishak?
Pardon me?
Do you practice that? And is it hard to practice that, or is it just spontaneous?
Yeah, I mean, after every practice we would work on tips, but I think for us D, I think we're working on a lot of one-timers and getting our shots through the net, and the only thing we're trying to do is trying to get shots as much as we can to the goalie and the forwards to try and create some chances. So we know that a lot of guys here can tip the puck, and we trust the forwards to do their job.
Drew was a late scratch, obviously. I'm sure you might have been a question mark over the course of the day. The fact that you guys had played, the entire first half without him whatsoever, having that knowledge, does that make it comfortable, in terms of mindset that, okay, if he's not available, we know know what to do without.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot of leaders on the back end. I don't think we're panicking when he's out. We just have to play our game. It takes 7 of us D to do our job, and obviously he's an important guy on the ice. But at the same time, if he's not playing, we have to step up and do the best we can. And obviously he'll be back soon, so we just have to do our job and go from there.
What did you see on the Höglander goal? It seemed like you and Edmondson were trying to switch there, or how did you see that develop, I guess?
Yeah, it was just a 2-on-2 play. They made a good play. When you crisscross and stuff like that, we just have to communicate and do better. I should have had a bit better gap, but at the same time, we just have to move on and and keep playing our game.
Jordan, you mentioned everyone has to step up when Drew's out, but for you and Brant specifically, you guys are kind of the next up as far as the puck movers and power play guys. So is that maybe a little bit of extra pressure on the two of you specifically?
No, not exactly. I think, he was gone for first 40 games, so, you adjust. Clarkie adjusts. I think at the start of the season, we were putting too much pressure on ourselves. But as the season went on, I think Clarkie and we've done a good job just adapting and just playing our game, being simple. But, when Dewey's out, he's an important guy, as I said, but we just have to step up, do our job, and, try and win.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Let's hear what Coach Hiller said about falling short in overtime.
Good point or bad point?
Oh, they're always good points. Points are always good. You'd like to have two, so they're always good when you get points. I'd like it to be better. You got me there for sure, but they're always good to get. They're hard to get.
Sentiment in the room was, 40 minutes, kind of played like the second period against Vegas, and then it really changed in the third, similar to the Vegas game. Did you see the same kind of thing where it just switch kind of flipped in second intermission?
Yeah, I didn't think we were great. I thought, we had some guys going pretty good early. I thought Janot was going good. He showed up. He was physical right away. He jumped out at me, playing with a lot of intensity. Give Vancouver credit, played really hard, and they don't give you much anyways. But yeah, we weren't sharp. Even in the third period, I didn't think we were sharp. We still weren't sharp. We scored. It was great to see, and we played much better. But I still think I don't think we were sharp. Passes on the tape, the power play, and all that kind of stuff. Those are examples for me of where we just weren't crisp.
Second game in a row, you went to Q centering, obviously Fiala and Kempe in third, and it paid off again, generated a goal. Curious as to how much do you see that being a regular thing when you in a need a goal scenario? Mm-hmm. And is that something that the line you may even consider going beyond that?
Yeah, we'll consider it for sure. I mean, they've been pretty effective in relatively small minutes together. I mean, tonight's Juice kind of was him and Gavi in a solo show by Juice. That wasn't necessarily the line, but and I thought that Kopi and Laugh and Turk were pretty dangerous too. I guess the whole team was more dangerous in the third period, so everybody kind of pushed a little bit more. But yeah, that's something we'll have to talk about for sure.
Can you color in a little bit detail on Doughty's injury? Like when did he sustain it? Is it related at all to the surgery?
No, it's just a lower body day to day.
He'll travel with the team.
He'll travel with the team, yeah.
Great.
Going back to that goal from Kempe, you said it was kind of a solo show by him. Does that ability to pick up the puck in the neutral zone, attack, and just kind of blow a puck by goal there? Is that a one-of-one skill on this team that he has, and how important is that?
I think you put Kevin in that same category, and Laugh almost got one in the second, one of our most dangerous chances. That was kind of a similar type of play. So I would put, top of my head, I would put those three guys as probably having the greatest probability to be able to pull that off.
How would you grade the power play today?
Oh, not very good. Not when you don't score. And we weren't as dangerous as we needed to be either, yeah. No, not good enough.
What went behind the decision to start Rittich, and what did you think about his performance tonight?
I thought he was just okay. Dave played really well on the back-to-back prior to the break, and then hadn't played in a long time, right? Break, and we know he's going to play one of the two, or likely play one of the two this weekend. So we didn't want him to have to wait 3 weeks in between starts. We wanted to make sure we get him a start before that. So that was it. But he was just okay.
You gave Clark the 17 minutes. What do you think?
We'll have to go back through and look closely like we do with all players. But
if Drew played, would he have played 17 minutes?
I don't think so, no. I think that's fair. Drew's going to suck up 20 to 25, so, and it's not going to be a whole lot of Mikey and Gavi and Eddie's minutes, so it's going to be somebody else's, and likely his, yeah.
Obviously, you guys have a lot of experience now this season not having Drew in the lineup, but to lose him kind of last second like that, does that have a negative mental impact on the team, even though you can survive without him, but even
right.
to lose that way?
I think that's a fair comment. We felt pretty good with him. He did a great job at the tournament. He was back. He was playing well. you know, it's like, okay, we got a little momentum here with this team, this lineup. Yeah, so I think to have them go out, you know, we miss them, and probably more so because of the circumstances that had missed most of the year. Yeah.
Coming back to Riddick, you know, coming into the year, it was kind of a 1A, 1B-ish situation with Darce. Do you feel like there's maybe a little more separation between the two now?
Well, if there is, it's how well Darcy has played. I mean, Darcy's played, you know, pretty darn good this year. Like there has, you know, he's at a level with, you know, probably 4 or 5 other goalies in the league that have really separated themselves as a group, I think. So, yeah, I would say if there's a separation, it's just because Darcy's played so well.
What do you make of this team so far after the break? Because it's been 3 games, 2 of them have been wins. And tonight, where they haven't really been clean, where you've had to respond. And you've said you like the response, but it seems like you've kind of been, or they've been disjointed pretty much every game.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that at all. I would have liked to seen us, you know, really come out and play a full 60 and go, and we didn't. There's no question. No, we've got probably pretty good results. You know, probably tonight we could have got 2, and probably the other nights maybe we didn't deserve to. Maybe we could have got 1 or 0. You know what I mean? So the results, you know, you hope that they balance themselves a little bit. So the sting is probably a little bit less because, although we probably deserve that, the other games, I'm not so sure. So we got to play better. I agree.
And there's been a big focus, obviously, on the Kempe Fiala QB line right now. Before that, it was Q and Fiala Laugh. Even before that, it was Kopitar and Kempe's line really going. This team seems like it's really struggled to get more than one line going at a time. What's maybe key for you to get that depth scoring really going?
Yeah. Well, I think Phil's line's been pretty consistent. So you look at, you know, Fogues gets the big one. They got 2, 3 the other night. So, and Phil's had a couple. So I think that line, I think it's an important point. I think that line probably, if they can get going somewhat consistently, then, you know, we'll find some goals from Q's line or Kopi's line. You know, it's usually one of those two has been scoring for us. So I think Phil's line is a really key line there if they can chip in a little bit.
Spenny's been pretty visible in the last couple games. Everybody knows about his skating and his skill, but where do you think he's at in terms of handling the physical rigors, his confidence level, and that kind of thing? Now 2/3 of the way through the season.
Right. Yeah. No, he does really well for an undersized defenseman. He's able to handle himself. You saw it against Vegas. It's one of the bigger teams in the league. So he handles himself physically. That's a real advantage for him. I mean, if he couldn't do that, it's hard to create offense in the league. And when I say create offense, what does that mean? It means a lot of different things. It might mean a lot more, might be different to me or the coaches than it is to other people. So creating offense is really difficult. And if you hang your hat on creating offense, you're going to have a tough time because giving up offense is really easy to do. So there's a balance there, and I think Spenny's done a really good job with that.
You mentioned when Drew comes back, he's going to suck up a lot of minutes, and he's not going to take him away from Gabby or Mikey. And he also said, won't take him away from Joel Edmondson. That maybe isn't a statement people expected when he signed in the summer. What does this coaching staff like so much about his game and how he's played this season?
Eddie?
Yeah.
Before I answer that, can I ask you what you've liked so much about Eddie's game?
Yeah, I think he shuts down opposition on the attack really well, and I think he's maybe a little under the puck on his stick.
Yeah, offensive blue line for sure. He's had a great season on the offensive blue line. Yeah, that I wasn't expecting. I didn't know he could shoot as well as he did. But the first point you make, you play a team like Vegas, you know, and then you got Hurdle, you got Stone. I could go down the list. There's a lot of big guys, Eichel too, and you just take up space. It's not only being big, which is important, cross-checking, keeping people off the goalie, but it's just the space you take up. It's the space you take up. I think if you saw a little bit of the Four Nations tournament when we watched that, the big players, they just seem to have maybe a little bit more of an impact on that series than some of the other guys. Just taking up space. There was just not a lot of room to get to the net for either team, and that's not just the defensemen, it's the forwards too. So, I mean, it's a simple math, right? The ice sheet's this big, and guys are this big, and they have a reach. It makes it harder. So, yeah, those things. But the offensive blue line has been a surprise. It's been really good, too. It's not a luck. He pounds it.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay.
Coach, if you want my opinion, you'll have to pay me.
I'll have to ask. You're going to tell me the stats. You left the stats on the...
After starting sluggish against the Canucks, it cost the Kings the game tonight. However, a better start will be needed for the Kings if they want to defeat the Stars. The Kings are looking to sweep the regular season series in Dallas on Friday. Reporting from Crypto.com Arena, I'm Holden Douglas with Infanity TV.